Just a reminder that this commentary is brought to you by the iPhone game Recess. Simply search Recess in the App Store on your iPhone or iPod Touch to play this simple and addicting game. Set your high score. Play through Facebook to beat the high scores of your friends. There are plenty of ways to have fun with this game by lunch money. And starting now as a bonus for my viewers, simply type in YouTube to the promo tab of the allowance menu in Recess and receive 25 free tokens. Recess is available now in the App Store for your iPhone or iPod Touch.
Hey guys, I'm here with Lefty, and he just posted a commentary about YouTube money and people making about money. Do you want to introduce yourself, buddy?
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions.
And it seemed like the main message of your video was that the glory days of the COD community aren't coming back. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think that would be an apt description of the point that I wanted to make.
Okay, so I really liked it. You know, I thought it was a solid video, but I have to talk to you about this because that was just scratching the surface, and I'd like to talk to you about the implications of, you know, the fact now that people are making a legitimate amount of money off these videos. Mm-hmm. So your point was the glory days aren't coming back. We have to deal with the fact that people put ads on their videos, and that's fine, but it's not the monetization that worries me. It's when the idea of making money off videos affects how people make them. Now, do you kind of follow?
When it affects the construction of the video and really how... I think I get what you're saying.
Okay, yeah, so you can put ads on a video, and that's fine if you would have made that video the same way regardless. But what I think is starting to happen, unfortunately, is that the idea of putting money or making money off of videos is now affecting the way people make them. So when you talked about the glory days, who did you mention? Hutch and Nanners?
Hutch and C-Nanners.
Okay, well, you said, you know, they did get salaried careers off this, but the difference between back then, even when they made money, was that they had something to share. When they made a video, they had something to share. They didn't have a quota. You didn't see them trying to pump out 3 commentaries a day because they had a quota to fulfill. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it didn't seem either they played it off really well or, you know, they generally didn't feel motivated by, you know, the money they were making. Maybe they were, but they played it off well. But nowadays, it becomes less and less shameless. You know what I mean? Or more and more shameless. Sorry, more and more shameless.
Yes, that would... Okay. So, yes, I understand.
So when you say glory days, I'm thinking there was truly a difference between the way videos were made. Because when I watch videos nowadays, I think to myself, the first question I ask, what inspired this video? You know, why did someone have the audacity to make this and demand a few minutes of my time today? And, you know, if I were to ask that question, what would be the answer for most videos for the average commentator that is making money off this? What inspired this video?
Well, it depends. There's a lot of content out there, and equally as many motivations for doing so. But for somebody that's partnered, for the average partnered channel, I mean, I guess the easiest presumption, which probably wouldn't be too far off, would be the simple fact of getting views and therefore money.
Okay, and that's fine if you're making money off of it, but if the inspiration is solely because, you know, you happen to be making money off it, it clearly affects the content over time. So yeah, you're right on with what I would suspect is the answer there. What inspired this? It's because I'm going to perpetuate my channel. I'm keeping it going. I'm keeping myself relevant. I'm going to add my 2 cents just like everyone else is. Meanwhile, nothing is really evolving. Okay, I mean, what do you think the main difference is between how videos were made back then and how they are made now? Well, the content hasn't evolved in a positive direction. The only difference I see is people are purely motivated by, you know, the money they're making nowadays.
Well, that is, I guess, what, you know, looking back through history. Not, I was going to say hippopotamus, maybe. I don't know. Looking back through history, that's the classic clash between artistry and, you know, business and big business. That is, we've seen that time and time again. Even going to the political side between the communists wanting to bring down the capitalist system, even though communists weren't big artists anyway, but. Regardless, that is the classic clash that we've seen, and really that's where you lie on that spectrum is rather subjective. And, you know, I am of the mind that regardless of whether the content evolves, the fact that the money for some people is an incentive or even perhaps a motivator, you know, it doesn't motivate me personally, but I understand that it motivates some other people. I think that it allows the content to flow and to meet the demand of the community, because the community has deemed, they say, okay, we'll watch these people, we'll watch, let's say, White Boy, X-Jaws, Hutch, well, not Hutch anymore because he doesn't really make that many videos, but whomever, and they've said, okay, we're going to watch all these people. We want more of their content, and the money that comes from YouTube allows that to happen. The money that comes from those advertisements allows that content to continue to flow freely.
And yeah,
And while the content may not evolve in an artistic sense, or it may have stagnated, evolution-wise, the content is still there, and the content is still flowing at a rate that I have to assume wouldn't be possible were it not for advertisements and money, YouTube money, and all that stuff.
no, I completely agree with you. It should be the demand that kind of regulates the content. Like, if viewers keep responding positively to what's happening now, even if they might not know any better, it just reinforces us. So the problem I see is this is what I see the next level. Okay, as people that make videos, you have to realize right now this is kind of like, I feel like it's the company just opened up to a capital system. It's like a cash grab. Like, everybody's just scavenging, as much as they can get out of this, because no one's sure how long it'll go on. Meanwhile, what that does is, overall, it's just discrediting, the authenticity of this. It's discrediting or lowering the level of entertainment here, because while everyone's just trying to get their scrimpets now, in the long run, people that are peeking in, maybe they're not committed to watching gaming videos. Maybe they watched a couple. They're not sure if this is worth their investment in time. People that look in, they see people during this cash grab stage where, just make as much as you can now. We're not sure how long this will go on. And they don't see anything attractive there. And overall, over time, fewer and fewer people than would have. I mean, it'll continue to grow, but fewer people that would have initially been attracted to watching the videos will actually continue watching the videos. That's what I feel. And if you have to have the foresight as someone who makes videos to see, if we just keep pumping out garbage, even though it does, we're happy with it for the time because of the viewership. Like, you have to recognize that you're not growing as much as you could have as an industry had everyone just, remain competitive and continue to put out original stuff. Do you kind of understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I think that when it comes to advertisements, and really, we are at a breaking point. I don't know really how much I can say here, given the contract I signed with a certain media group. But we are at the cusp now where we are seeing a different and new kind of advertising that allows for, it's like the penny stock gains in the stock market, and just the quick money, quick cash, all that stuff. We are seeing that kind of advertising kind of creep in. And, I think that while I am for advertisements and while I am for people getting partnered and making as much as they can, I think it is also very, very pertinent to take a look at oneself and place restrictions upon oneself when it comes to advertising and doing all those things. I know it sounds weird, like it conflicts with what I was saying before, but I'm not saying that everybody should be regulated in terms of how many videos they can put out and what can be advertised and what can't. But I think it's up to the individual video maker to say, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to monetize this video, or I'm not going to monetize that video, while I am going to monetize this. For instance, on my videos with the direct advertising opportunities that I am privy to, I have placed restrictions on myself, and people, I don't think many people have noticed, but I've said, you know what, I'm not going to put that direct advertising stuff on a video that's less than 7 minutes long, because I believe that with my endorsement, which is what it is really in that kind of advertising, the viewers deserve at least some amount of content. Whether they enjoy it, that's subjective, and that's a judgment call on their part, and it is every time. But I'm going to give them as much content as I can, or at least this benchmark for a good amount of content, in exchange for sitting through my little spiel that makes me a little bit of money. And I'm not going to put it on anything that's less than that. And what's more, I'm not going to enable the pre-roll, the standard pre-roll ads that we have come to know and love from a standard YouTube partnership, because to me, that's just way too much advertising. You know what? Because and this is weird, while the viewers and subscribers may be treated like pawns behind the scenes, there's a point where you're not just running a business, you're trying to rape the community for as much cash as you can get. And I think that would be crossing that line in terms of putting pre-roll ads on those direct advertisement opportunities. So those are the kinds of things I implement on myself, and I think the community would be well served if every content provider that was in that kind of position to put ads on their videos and all that stuff, if they took the time to say, okay, let me look at myself and what I do, and let's see if I can restrict myself just a little bit to ensure that I'm not going overboard with this thing, because it goes both ways.
Here's the problem I
street
see,
does.
though. I mean, when people get a taste of the kind of life they could be living, the kind of things they have to not worry about anymore, paying rent, eating, whatever, when they get a taste of that, it's hard for them to be content, okay? So what you see is people get more and more shameless because the viewers aren't demanding more because they're happy. Sure, they're happy, and that's great. But if they don't demand more, people just become more and more shameless. They split a 9-minute commentary into 2 sections. Their video starts, their idea for a video is, how can I make a video that needlessly creates 4 different click-through links? How can I split this video up into and maximize my profit? That becomes their motivation, even though you can hold yourself to that standard, but just like any other industry, if you can be like untruthful to your own morals, or you don't have morals, you will actually go further. Okay, if you can live with yourself being more and more shameless, you will make more money and you will succeed more than a lot of other people. And that's a standoff I see right now, where there's people like us that may recognize this, but then there's also people in the cash grab stage that are just, let's scrounge every penny we can while this is still here, not thinking about, the implications of the community as a whole and how no one's going to take us seriously in a year if every 9-minute commentary is split up into 2 chapters for no reason.
Well, the thing is that you're not going to stop that. Regardless of what the gains are, regardless of what the proposed gains are, as the sample size in terms of the community of content providers gets larger and larger, which it has, there are going to be more and more people willing to do whatever it takes to get whatever the gains are. And there's really no stopping that. And I don't really know. And I'm not sure if you have an idea, but I don't really know what to do about it other than to go so far as to swing the pendulum back in the complete other direction and say, that's it, no more advertisements for nobody on anything, and that's it. And I think that's going way too far. So I don't know exactly where to go besides just saying, you know what, there's going to be people like that.
Yeah.
And that reflects on them, and they may not care, they may cash a check and they don't care. But that's fine. There's going to be people like that, and they're going to do what they're going to do regardless. If people really want the money, if people really want to make the money from YouTube and they really want to make as much money as they can, they're going to do it. They're not going to be restricted by anything you try to put on them. They're just going to try to make as much money as they possibly can.
Obviously, it's great that that this could become a real thing where, being paid for advertisements allowed me to buy a better microphone. It allowed me to evolve my channel and the caliber of my content, okay? Because initially it was uploading scrimpy little COD clips, then it was commentaries, now it's real videos, and now I can buy a real camera if I want to and make like higher level videos. So you're right. I mean, if you can't, that's a positive effect of it, and you can't just worry about people taking out of control and take away the positive impact that this has had overall on the size of the industry. But I don't know where this is going, to be honest, and it doesn't look good if this whole cash grab and shameless tactics just perpetuate and evolve. You know what I mean?
But again, I don't think there's much we can do.
I think this is a good conversation. This is a start, and maybe with a little more thought, we might have, what's the next step? I guess knowing that this is the future, where can we take it? But for now, it seems like this is kind of an unfortunate crux, I suppose.
Yeah, well, maybe there's a chance somewhere down the line for gentle corrections. And maybe it's possible that that's all that is needed. It doesn't have to be just a left turn at some point or stopping the whatever metaphor we're using here in its tracks. Maybe it's just gentle course correction now and again. You know, it's I wouldn't go so far as to say that that's impossible.
I mean,
But
that's when the video bumping thing came out. I made a video about that, and it's ultimately kind of stopped it. I don't want to like take credit for doing that, but you have to realize like that was nowhere near my responsibility. That's nothing that I should be regulating or should be involved with, and I was out of place kind of for bringing it up. But if the people making the videos don't take control of it, like who's going to make that gentle correction when, you know, all they see at the other end is, you know, these kids are getting mad views, and, you know, why would we want to interfere with this right now?
But here's the thing, though. You know what that video also increased was people that output more than one video in a 24-hour period getting a lot of unnecessary hate and dislikes and unsubscriptions and all that from people that didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I've had it done to me. I've seen it done to plenty of other people where they upload a second video, and that's just the way YouTube works, is that when you hit that upload button, boom, bumps it back to the top of the page. Then all of a sudden on the video that's a little older, you start getting people saying, "Oh, you're bumping, unsubbed, you suck, why are you bumping, blah, 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 blah." The community doesn't understand.
Yeah,
the community as a whole isn't apt to be the watchdog or guardian of those kinds of things.
Yeah, and even I learned from that, you know, it might seem like my place to step in when you see this kind of wrongdoing, but no, it will always end up like negatively affecting you, negatively affecting your reputation, and, you know, there will always be a backlash. So at this point, you know, I'm kind of interested to see where it goes, but for the time being, I hope people maintain a sense of decency and actually try to improve their videos, even if no one's demanding more, to be honest, because it will pay off in the long term, and this will just keep all these videos and the commentaries and whatnot going over the years.
Yeah, and, you know, hopefully there will come a time where the content provider will evolve, and I'm not expecting it soon, but maybe some people will turn and look at themselves and say, "Yeah, you know, I should probably stop. I'm not going to do that anymore."
All right, well, good talk. We'll have to do this again.
All right, we'll have to do it again. Thank you for having me on, or thank you for coming, depending on where you're watching this, I guess.
All right.
But yeah, we should do it again, and hopefully the response to this is, I guess, enlightened, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I hope so too. All righty.
All right, peace out, guys.